Welcome back to Hockey Talks. I'm Carl. That's Dave here. We're going to get into a few things tonight, including Leon Draisaitl signing a new contract and where Connor McDavid will go now that Leon is signed. But before we get into all that, we want to pay some tributes to Johnny and Matthew Gaudreau, who had tragically passed away in New Jersey here the day before their sister's wedding. They were in town there. They were going for a bike ride together, and they got hit behind by a car, allegedly drunk driver. Once again, that plays another factor to another tragic death that happens to so many, way too many people.
How old was he again?
Johnny was 31, Matthew was 29, or 28, I believe. Yeah, so far too young.
And they were going for a bike ride?
They were biking together, on the side of the road, and the story is that the car tried to pass another car on the shoulder, and they were biking on that shoulder, and they got hit, and they both died from their injuries. Johnny Gaudreau, he played 9 seasons with Calgary. The last 2 here being with Columbus. He's made a lot of acquaintances and good hockey players, a lot of good friends over those years. Memories with both communities, right? They're both paying their tributes at both the Saddle Dome and the American Wide Arena in Columbus. As we speak, I think they're doing a visual, candlelight visual tonight, honoring both Matthew and Johnny. That is a big loss to the hockey community around the world. Everybody's feeling it. The tributes pouring in everywhere, and we just want to send out our deepest condolences to the families, the friends, everybody that has to encounter this. This is a terrible, terrible tragedy. We don't like to hear these kind of stories, but unfortunately, stuff like this still happens, even though we put out so many advertisings and warnings, and we try to put so many things in place, but we still have these things going on. And it's so unfortunate. But unfortunately, we have to bring this news, and we just wanted to pay our condolences and tributes to both those players and their families in the times that they're going through right now.
It's unfortunate to hear about these things and that they happen, but it's weird how every once in a while it happens to these big names where it gets a lot of attention. And with the Gaudreaus there, it's crazy how it buckles down, how it winds down like this, and you don't hear anything bad. Like, we're dirty players. You know, Johnny had I think it was like a record as well, tied with Lemieux for even like the most amount of regular strength, even strength points in this season. It was like 71 or something like that. So so especially when it goes to such talent, it's it's just unfortunate because you can't help but feel like it was avoidable. It's avoidable.
Oh, absolutely.
The reality is that there's so many accidents per year, and people die from vehicles, and it's like what do you do, right? You can't really change anything or control anything. It's not like he was the one drunk behind the wheel slamming into somebody else.
No.
So
no, and
innocence,
it's just careless, reckless. You pass on a shoulder. But it's just, it's unfortunate, the events that happened. Johnny played 763 games in the NHL. He was known as Johnny Hockey for the style of play and the goals scored. He was one of the elite players in the NHL, and he'll be truly missed throughout the reactions from the players. His teammates are just starting to come in today. So next week we'll try to maybe get you some more of that, or you guys will probably hear about it throughout the next couple of weeks, I'm sure. Matthew Gaudreau, brother of Johnny, he played in Boston College for 4 years, and he was in between the AHL and the ECHL for the last 7 years, kind of going back and forth between leagues here. But both of them just a tragic loss, and they'll both be missed, and everybody's pouring in support right now, and we give our complete condolences to both family, friends, and just everybody going through this very, very difficult time.
Yeah, and they always say there's a few ways that you pass away in your life, and the first way is getting removed from from this world, and the second way is to have the last memory of you from people that are living, like in their brains. And the third way you pass away is when your name is forever forgotten. And that's one name that's probably gonna, his third life is gonna last a lot longer than a lot of us. And so I guess that's one good way of thinking about it.
Yeah.
Is that he'll live on, and maybe this is one of the many things that's going to lead to change to prevent this kind of thing happening in the future.
Yeah, he'll be remembered for a long, long time.
Yeah.
Beyond this, and I'm sure there will be a lot more tributes and video tributes when the season gets going. Everybody is going to be doing something to support Johnny and his family, and Matthew and his family, and we'll see them more coming out all the time. Cole Caulfield, actually, player for the Montreal Canadiens, actually is going to switch his jersey number to number 13, which was Johnny Gaudreau's number.
Oh.
Right?
Okay.
So he's going to switch his number to number 13 to honor Johnny throughout this season.
I see.
So that's good on Cole. He's trying to do something to try to show his support, I guess.
You think that's maybe a little weird, though?
Do you think it's weird?
I
don't know. But, yeah, I could see his intention. I could see his intention.
Yeah. Hey, can you see how it would get maybe misconstrued?
That too.
Yeah.
That could.
Let's just keep it.
I think his intentions are good.
Yeah.
I think his intentions are good. Yeah.
Because everybody wants number 13.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a good number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
anyways,
yeah. We just wanted to bring that up, just to share our thoughts and on this terrible tragedy. So. We hope all the best for the families involved in going forward.
Yeah. And in all seriousness, if a public event like this can raise awareness to thousands or millions and save more than one life, or I suppose 2 lives, then it's not like it's worth it, but at least it's not in vain.
It helps, right?
Yeah.
You put this out there, people see it. We're hoping people see this, and hopefully it just gets better and people start realizing it.
Yeah.
That, just be aware.
Even for bikers.
Even for people biking, right?
It's not like you have to be more careful, but just be aware that there's crazy people out there.
Yeah. There's always going to be somebody that's going to try something stupid.
And as much as you're in the right, because there's a lot of fussy people out there, right, that do all sorts of things. And the reality is that you're a bicycle and you're going against a vehicle.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's as much as you're entitled for your own, your own lanes and things like that, still got to be aware. You got to drive for everybody else too, right?
Yeah. Yeah. In this case, they couldn't see it coming because they were hit from behind.
Yeah.
So
which is even worse.
It's even worse. Yeah. But yeah, we just wanted to touch base on this before we dive into some other topics here.
Yeah. So just speaking about, historic people and names being written down in history and being remembered for hopefully a long time. I got a kind of in a bit of a lighter subject, a question for you.
All right.
Let's see if Carl can name all, and maybe you guys can too, all original 6 teams. And then I got a follow-up question after that.
Okay, original 6 teams.
Yes.
We're going to go with Boston.
Okay.
Montreal, Toronto, Chicago, Detroit, and I know this one.
New
York Rangers.
Yeah. Okay, and now can you list them from top to bottom and give the amount of Stanley Cups each one's won? It doesn't have to be on accurate, but just see if you can list them in order.
Okay.
Yeah. So who's the number 1 with Stanley Cups?
The amount of Stanley Cups they won?
Yeah, top out of all 6 those teams.
New York Rangers.
Really?
Oh, you think so? No, they're not.
Out of those 6 teams, which team has won the most Stanley Cups?
We're gonna go with Montreal Canadiens.
Yeah.
Yeah. I should have thought that from the beginning. Okay.
And take a guess as to how many, just real quick.
I guess to how many? We're gonna
3,
go
2, 1.
Like 10?
24.
24.
All
I
right.
don't know why I said 10.
Next on the list?
Next on the list, we are going to go with it wouldn't be the Rangers. We're going to go with Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yes. How many?
I'm going to guess like
funny number we were just saying. 13.
13.
13.
13, really.
All right, next on the list?
We're going to go with the New York Rangers.
Nope. The Red Wings.
Red Wings. Oh,
and how many?
Red Wings 11.
Yeah. That's actually, bullseye.
Yeah, okay.
And next on the list? This is a tie.
Okay.
It's a two-way tie.
It's a tie between probably Chicago and Boston.
You got it. How many?
Boston probably 2 and Chicago 2.
6.
6 each?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the Rangers?
Rangers, I'm going to say they probably have 4.
Yes, you got that one.
Yeah,
So,
okay.
I don't know if you guys knew any of those. Carl, he knew the teams, but
I knew the teams,
the amount of
kind
Stanley
of.
Cups.
Yeah. When you put on the spot, I don't know these questions before he asked them, so it's all trying to figure that out.
Yeah, I'm rushing them too.
So, I did okay.
Yeah, we got half.
I did okay.
We'll
How did you do?
Half, 50%, we'll say. A C is a P,
We'll
right?
see. We'll see.
Yeah.
Okay. 50% on that. But yeah, there's a lot of Stanley Cups between those 6 franchises.
A lot of them happened way back yonder.
Yeah.
When there was only 6 teams in the league. And
yeah.
I feel like the numbers you were saying were kind of like the more recent ones. But no, it was like, dude, the Leafs' last cup was in 1967 and they still have 13 cups.
Yeah. They had 13
cups. And Montreal Canadiens, what?
Well, they
is
had
any
a lot of
team
cups.
even going to be able to touch 24? Like, holy smokes, man. That's insane.
And they were getting cups like into the 70s, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And Boston only having 6 surprised me a lot.
Yeah, that surprised me a lot. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, only
they've had quite a competitive team for a while now too. And
well, now, yeah, they had that won in 2011, obviously. They haven't won since that.
Yeah,
2011 was their last chance. They've had a good team and they made it the Cup Finals, I think, twice since then, but they haven't been able to pull that off.
Well, it makes you wonder. Like, it's too bad Vancouver wasn't the original 6 team.
Yeah, they only came in the 70s.
Maybe they'd have a cup.
Yeah, maybe. Less teams, less child. They probably still wouldn't have a cup. We'll still be waiting for that day. One day. But speaking of Stanley Cups, the one player who doesn't have one but really wants to have one is Leon Draisaitl.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Fighting. They got to the Game 7 last year in the Stanley Cup final. But, alas, they came up short.
That's got a scar.
But he has hope in this team as he just signed a 8-year, $112 million contract over the next, 8 years. It comes down to about $14 million per year. That's a huge contract.
Wow.
A huge contract.
$14 million per year?
He is the highest paid NHLer right now in the league. Or actually, I think there ever has been. $14 million a year it averages out to be.
Seriously?
Yeah. So it's a huge contract, 8 years, which we figured it was probably going to be about 8 years. Not quite sure of the number. Maybe a little higher than we expected. I thought maybe, probably 12, 13, but 14. You were a $14 million a year, 8-year contract.
Are you kidding me right now?
He wanted to point that shirt out.
Yeah.
Hope you guys enjoy it. But that leads up after he signed this contract. Him and McDavid were saying they had conversations, especially he was at McDavid's wedding over the summer, and they had a lot of talks about this. So do you think McDavid's...
I got a question to ask before that question.
Okay.
Do you think Draisaitl is worth $14 million?
Yes.
Yeah?
He is an elite player.
You think he's worth the most expensive player in the NHL? I'm not saying he's bad, but the number one. And then you know what I say about people who always go for a lot of money. It's like, well, go a little less and let some money go around other players and have a better team overall.
Everything's climbing, right? Everybody's getting more and more
inflation.
Money.
I got it.
Well, I don't know about that, but maybe. It's
he needs to be able to afford his grocery bills. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. He doesn't make enough as he's doing right now. But $14 million right now, I think he's worth it. I think that's a good contract for him. He's going to be in his late 30s when this contract ends, right? But he's an elite goal scorer. He's a hardworking player. Like, he's one of the top, he pretty much is the top guy on that team, other than Connor McDavid, right?
Yeah.
And I think locking him up for long term is great for the Oilers. Do you think they're going to win any cups within the next year?
The Oilers within the next year?
Not next year, within the next year.
The next years?
Next few
like,
years.
let's just use his contract as a basis for that conversation. So, like, in the next 8 years, are they going to win any cups?
How many?
I don't know. I really don't, like, it depends. They had something really, really good this year. They did slip by in a couple different areas, and there are very challenging teams that you have to beat, right? So, locking them up for 8 years, I mean, sure, but if they don't get probably a cup within the next 2 years, I would say, this next year that we're going to have, and then the following year, I would say that the problems go maybe a bit deeper. Kind of like what was happening. The example I like to use is the Leafs with Babcock. If they didn't get kind of a cup in the first 2 or 3 years, it's like, well, okay, maybe something's not working or something's out of place. And then you start shifting things around. But as you can see from the Leafs as an example, there's a lot of stuff that it could be. And until you crack what it is, you're kind of left shooting in the dark, I guess.
Yeah.
So whether Dry being signed is going to lead to other players coming on and forming that good chemistry in the team, kind of like what if McDavid were to sign because Dry, that might be something. But honestly, in the next 8 years, I just think that there's way too many challenging teams to win multiple cups.
Yeah, they might not win
in a row consecutively. Like they might if they. I don't know. What do you think? I guess.
Well, I think they have to win within the first few years here.
First 3 years.
Yeah, I would say like probably 3 or 4 years. Yeah.
Okay.
If they get within that, I think they will get one. I think they will get one. They have a solid team. Like they have a really good team. Like the Edmonton Oilers are one of the best teams in the league right now. A lot to do with Leon and Connor, right? They're the two best players, and they have a bunch of contributing guys, of course, right? But these two guys, they're determined and they're going to win it. They went to Game 7 of the Stanley Cup last year. You can see how good of a team they really are, right? So I think they're going to
They also lost the first 3.
They did, yes. They lost the first 3 of that, but they fought back. They came back.
Yeah.
But I think they will get one, at least one.
See, and here's where I kind of go is like, why, like, to rationalize at least getting one, it's kind of like you're just playing with like averages and what could happen. But we all know in order to get that one, you have to defy the odds, whether you're a good team or a bad team.
Yeah, absolutely.
And do they have it from the top down? I don't know. Like, it's tough to say because even when you have the greatest team in the league, there's still so many things that can go wrong.
Yeah, like injuries.
Yeah, I mean, and this is coming from a Leafs fan. Like, I know, I get it. You have a perfectly good team for years in a row, and you still have to defy all odds to make it to the Cup. Yeah. And then when you do, there's another team that also defied all the odds, and then they end up beating you.
Well, look at the St. Louis Blues.
So that's why I say it's like St. Louis Blues in 2019. Yeah, they were bottom, and then
they were completely bottom going into January.
Worked their way up.
Going into January, they were 30th in the league.
And look at who was the number 1 to win the Cup that year. It probably wasn't them.
No, absolutely not.
See, so
they didn't have terribly much. No stars, no real big stars, right? So
it's heavily contended, and it's almost like when you have a powerhouse team, you're not going to win the Cup.
But you have to have belief, and you have to really, really want it, right? I feel like these guys really, really want it, of course. But like you said, a lot of stuff can play into it over the years. Injuries, especially to those guys. Like Connor's been hurt before. Leon's been hurt before. Connor was battling something with his back last year at the beginning of the year. So that had Oilers really had a tough time at the beginning of last year, right? With missing one guy.
Yeah. And
they struggled. So we'll see. I think they have a good chance. They are a really good team if they stay healthy, right? They get good goaltending.
Yeah.
Consistent goaltending. But we'll see where it goes from
there. And that's what kind of leads into the next one is they have a great team and all that. But if the problem is something else, is Connor smart enough, or maybe I don't want to make it seem like Edmonton's not got a good team, but like, is he getting ahead of the game if he does switch and go somewhere else that he might, want just for a change? Or do you
think Connor will go somewhere else?
I mean, I don't know. I think it would be. I don't think he'd want to, but at the same time, usually if you don't want to, you should.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I guess the question comes down to this. If he wants to go somewhere else, but if he did go somewhere else, do you think he would contribute more as a player than he would on Edmonton Oilers? And that's where it gets a little dicey, because like if you were to go to like New Jersey, like that would be a pretty solid team that could get behind him, and I mean that would be a pretty solid choice. Because it's the same kind of skill, but different. Guys that you haven't played with for 8 years, and there's some stars that come up through the ranks and things like that. But the reality is, you guys had your chance, and it came down to a game. And you guys could barely... Did they even score? I think they scored a goal.
Yeah, I think it was 2-1, I think.
And that's the reality. So, yeah, you're playing a hard team, but... Well, you got... Look at your team, man. I don't know. It's just such a difficult thing to...
Yeah,
it's
try and... Very challenging. And to say and predict that they're going to win a Stanley Cup. Who knows? Who really knows what happens?
But what I do know is that if you do change something, usually it's... it's for the better.
Yeah, it sometimes is. Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes change is good. I think Connor McDavid will sign.
I think so too.
His contract is up in 2 years, right? He's eligible to sign July 1st, 2025, next year.
Yeah.
He's eligible to sign a new contract, and I think he will. Just because if Leon didn't sign, I don't think Connor would have signed either.
But I mean, look at the Sedin brothers too.
Yeah.
Right? Both of them stuck side by side the whole time.
They wouldn't.
And they never won a cup.
They never did. They got really...
What if one of them... They did, absolutely. But what if one of them ended up going to a different team?
They wouldn't have let that happen. They said they wouldn't play and if they weren't together.
I know, but that's thinking illogically, right? So, let's just not use that emotional response and what they said and stuff. And let's just kind of pretend. If one of them went to a different team, it could have been a very different story. One of them might have ended up winning a cup.
Yeah.
Is all I'm saying, right?
They find their own success, with other players, right?
Yeah.
They never wanted to take that chance.
No, and that's fair enough, grow up playing together and all that. So
this is, I guess, a little bit different. Kind of the same idea. I mean, Leon will go wherever Connor goes.
Yeah.
And I think vice versa, too. Connor just wants to play with Leon as well.
Mm-hmm.
They think they have a very good shot together to get this cup. And I think that's why they're going to sign. That's why Leon signed. I'm pretty sure he signed because he talked to McDavid. And they agreed that they were going to sign.
Okay, what if they go into the playoffs and they get swept, or not to get swept, but they lose the first round, and then Dave will stay there?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so. I think he has more belief than probably people do about this Edmonton Oilers team.
Well, I wouldn't think. I don't know. Do people not believe in them?
People often have questions, right? Yeah. They're not getting it done. They have the stars on their side.
It's been a while.
People are very hit and miss. Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's going good. It's going good. As soon as one thing happens, oh, no, tear the team down.
Yeah.
We got to rebuild.
It's an emotional response.
Very. Yeah. But it happens a lot. It happens all the time with fans. I think he's going to stay.
How much?
He's going to make more than Draisaitl. He's going to make more than Leon.
But how much can you pay a guy? You know what I mean?
I think he's going to match it so him and Leon finish the contract at the same time. So I'm going to go 7-year, $15 million contract. 15 million a year, 7 years. I think that's probably about right. I think that's...
Goodbye, goaltender.
Yeah,
that's my point. That's my point. It's those little things that push a team over the edge. And if you sign those two big names, yes, you have lots of good, couple good players on the team, but there's more to it than that, So it'll be interesting, though. We'll watch, see what happens, as always.
Well, they let those two guys go to St. Louis, right?
Yeah.
On those qualifying offers. So maybe that was part of the deal. They knew they were going to sign Leon, and they needed to make room, right? And they made some changes.
Well, you know what they say. It just takes two players to win a Stanley Cup. Right?
Yeah.
That's the saying, right? Not the opposite.
No. Yeah, well, they're going to be paying those two a lot of money in the next couple of years. I can't wait to see how this unfolds this year.
Yeah.
See if it was worth it.
Yeah.
See if this is all worth it. But that was all the time again we have for tonight. Thanks again for watching. Hope you have a wonderful evening.
One more month.
One more month. Here we go.
See you later.